Hi, Dave. It's Debbie.
Hey, Debbie, how's it going?
Very good, very good. So we're talking about, I'm just back from the DPA conference where all the buzz was trying to see if we could speed it up, do the 2014, So I wanted to hear more specifically about your campaign, about the updates that you made, and et cetera.
Well, that's great news to hear that people are starting to come around to 2014. I think it's a very, very real possibility that we can pull this off. As far as the updates that we did, we had got some response from the community about a couple things. One of them being the length, another being a way in which we had state cards. It was sort of required at one point. So we went through and updated the language based on the community feedback that we were getting, as well as a couple little details that the Legislative Analyst's Office recommended. There were some things like this paragraph should have an exemption for this paragraph, and just it being such a long document, there was a few things that they caught that we wanted to update to.
So where can people find out about the initiative? You guys have a website, something like that?
You can find out all the information on the website, which is MCLR.us. So that's the Marijuana Control, Legalization, and Revenue Act, United States.
Then can you tell people a little bit about the content of the initiative? We were talking about the fact that there's the sort of CCHI initiative, the Jack Herrera initiative. There's the initiative that you and your group have created, and then who knows what, So what are the points in your initiative, or the key things, or what are you telling voters? What's your talking points?
Well, the biggest keys are that, one, we actually create a full regulatory system within our act, and two, that we go through and we fix the medical laws and we legalize hemp all at the same time. As far as the structure of our document, what we've been doing is spending the past year reaching out to everybody that we could in the community to get feedback as far as what they wanted to see in it. So what we have, we really feel is a great representation of what the California cannabis community wants. As far as the other details, we create a new commission that will manage all of this. So, there's been a lot of debate as far as ABC controlling it versus Consumer Affairs versus Health Department. We posed this to some of the best attorneys in Sacramento, and what they came back with was what you really need is an independent commission, and there's just no way around it. There's an argument that says there would be cost savings if you put it under another agency, but the fact of the matter, that cost savings is really insignificant. You still have to hire employees, you have to create letterhead, you have to develop programs. All these costs are going to be identical whether or not you create an independent program or you put it under, say, the ABC. As far as the details of the act, it's definitely different than what Washington did. It's I'd say closer to Colorado, except for Colorado put it under their ABC equivalent. So it's a pretty detailed regulatory system that also includes what we in the community have really felt are important issues, such as protecting family rights and ensuring that kids can't be taken away from their parents.
So the two big questions, of course, are can you get the money and can you get the signatures?
Yeah, well, that's the big key, is getting the money to get the signatures. And the biggest thing that's been really holding us back is this dialogue that 2014 is impossible, 2016 is the only thing that we can do. So if that's starting to change, that really makes me feel a lot better that we could get some potential of some real funding starting to come through. So, that's a good sign. It's just a matter of getting everybody to actually work together instead of trying to compete. And what we've done this whole time is presented an open document for anybody to suggest modifications to, put in their input, put in their ideas, to try to avoid the multiple initiatives. So, that's really kind of where the core of what we have done has come from, is to try to avoid multiple initiatives. Unfortunately, we weren't able to work with the CCHI guys to modify that language. They're very set on that their language is fine as is. So we did have to, by the nature of what we were doing, put another competing initiative with CCHI. But we're really hoping that we can, by presenting this open platform, avoid any further initiatives from being filed.
Well, what are we going to do? Are we supposed to sign both initiatives? There's 2014. That gets so complicated. Do we get a scorecard to carry around in our wallet? It's so confusing. You know, this is the downfall that we had in 2010.
Yep. Well, and, you know, that's 2010 and 2012. I mean, I think 2012 was really the shining example of one of the major problems with the cannabis movement, where everybody has different ideas and everybody's trying to take it in their own direction. And that was actually the motivation for us creating this document and creating it the way that we did, to try to make sure that everybody that has a voice, that wants to say something about it, can actually give input on the language, instead of, you know, saying, no, our way is the only way that's right, and, you know, if it's not this way, it's the highway. We really, really tried to include everybody that we possibly could, everybody that would want to give input to develop this language. And we're still open to doing it. If there's somebody that comes along tomorrow and says, hey, you missed this major thing that we need to include, we're willing to do it. It'll extend the deadline for gathering signatures, and when we can start collecting signatures, which, you know, the sooner the better, but we're willing to do it. So we're really hoping that that message and, you know, the actions that we've taken demonstrate that we're open to working with everybody to try to develop something that can actually get passed in 2014.
Well, Dave, we really appreciate you calling.